Toro is one of the oldest zero-turn mower brands in the country. And with that in mind, they have had years and years and years to nearly perfect the zero-turn model. So with that in mind, I've got today my top 3 favorite Toro zero-turn mowers. So we've got some residential ones up to their commercial ones. And again, this is not to take away from their entire line. These are just 3 that are packed with value and ones that I think are very special models in the Toro line. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Toro makes equipment as small as edgers and as large as massive turf style equipment that golf courses all over the country use. So they've got a lot of different lines within the Toro umbrella. We are focusing specifically on their zero turn line. So here at Howe Equipment, that was actually the first brand that we landed was Toro. As soon after Matt bought this property, Toro and Matt made a deal and he became an official Toro dealer, and we haven't looked back since. We're big fans of Toro, and so today it's an exciting video to make for us, being that this is a brand that's been with us from the beginning, which is kind of cool. So the reason this is a top 3 and not a top 5 is because Toro really only has 8 lines of machines total. They've got their Timecutter and Timecutter Max, their Titan and Titan Max, and then their 4 commercial series, the 2000, 4000, 5000, and 6000 series mower. So because there's only 8, instead of leaving just a couple out, we're gonna narrow it to 3, but I actually wanna add in a 4th. I do have an honorable mention that I wanna get to, so let's start there. The honorable mention for my favorite Toro in the line is the Timecutter Havoc 60-inch. So this one here is unique for a couple of reasons. Number one, and maybe the most obviously, it's all black. So Toro, they have their Toro red as more of an accent color, and the entire frame is in a sort of blackout package, which I think is kind of cool. Now, this is something that they're only doing in their Timecutter Havoc series. In years past, they made a Titan Max Havoc where it was all blacked out as well, had huge aluminum rims, looked really, really cool, super aggressive. But this year they're only rolling it out into the Timecutter series. So the other reason I wanted to include this is because it has the MyRide suspension. If you're familiar with Toro, then you're familiar with this fully suspended platform that you have. So it's suspended on this kind of central spring right here, and you can actually control the stiffness of it along the backside here. So you can see the further back you have it, the more loose the suspension's gonna feel. The further forward, the more stiff the suspension's gonna feel. So you can kind of customize it exactly to what feels comfortable for you. Now, MyRide is a super unique feel, and really it's something that's in a class of its own. There's not any other brand that is rivaling what Toro is putting into their MyRide mowers. So essentially the feedback we hear is it's either A, probably the most comfortable suspension system anybody's ever used, or B, they don't really like the feel of it. There's not much in between that we feel. Me personally, I'm a fan of it. I think it's a nice ride. It's a lot more rocking style support versus like a lot of up and down type suspension you might feel in other models. So again, it can feel like you're almost a little disconnected from the machine with how it rocks, but I think it's very comfortable. I really do think it absorbs a lot of bumps in the yard and makes for a very comfortable ride. So again, very unique. Toro's putting this on every level of zero turn mower they make, which I think is nice. This is also a 60-inch cut, which is the only 60-inch cut Toro makes in the Timecutter series that you can get MyRide suspension on. Their standard 60-inch in a Timecutter Max doesn't have that MyRide option. So if you want a bigger cutting deck, a 60-inch deck, and you want MyRide, but you don't want to pay up to a Titan series price point, this Timecutter Havoc is that option. The other thing that makes it rival the Titan is that it's got the same transmission. So this has Hydrogear ZT 2800 transmissions on it, which is the same that Toro rolls out in their Titan series. So you make that jump from standard 2200s the Timecutter does to the 2800s, which I think is nice as well. And then if we look on the back side here, you're gonna notice they give you a 23 horse Kawasaki engine. You'll see the back, it's nice and enclosed. It really encloses the engine here to have good protection around it. The seat is, for the most part, fixed in place. You can remove a couple of pins here if you need to pop the seat up. So again, really the only thing underneath the seat is the gas tank. You have your battery tucked away to the side here. So battery's easily accessible away to the side. And then for the gas tank, you notice it's kind of like an automotive style. It's on the side here, so you're gonna have less spills overall. A lot of mowers will have a central gas tank right here that you kind of got to really tip the gas tank, and there's more opportunity for spillage. This is really nice. It's easy to fill, usually no mess. And then something that I like that Toro does on this that they do in their whole Timecutter series is they actually have this piece here come out a little bit far to almost match what the wheelbase is. This is supposed to be like a splash guard for when you're mowing. So if there's any damp grass or just muddy areas that you are mowing through, instead of getting a bunch of dirt kicking up the front, maybe getting on your shoes, getting on the front side of your mower, this is supposed to block that as well. So you'll see the frame kind of encapsulates the back half of the mower really well, which I think is nice. So Toro puts Voodoo tires on these, again, a pretty aggressive tread style, and they're 20-inch tall tires. So the last thing that's worth mentioning is the plastic grass chute. So again, you've heard me talk about it in other videos. I always prefer a rubber grass chute. It just stands the test of time a little bit better. So this does have the opportunity to chip if you're going around rocks or the edges of beds, whatever the case may be. Again, not a huge deal that it's plastic. Tons of brands are doing it, but that is the one thing I would probably change on a lot of these Timecutter series is rubber grass chutes. But nonetheless, I love what they're rolling out in this mower. I think it's a really great option, a very unique option, and that's why it's an honorable mention in my Toro lineup. So I did leave a couple of things out on the Timecutter Havoc because I wanted to leave it for my first mower that I'm choosing in my top 3 favorites, which happens to be a 54-inch Timecutter Max. So the couple of things I left out is, number 1, a hanging deck here. So you can see something that Toro's now doing on their Timecutter Max series. You have a suspended platform with the chain hanging system. So you have 2 on the front, 2 on the rear. So it's a fully suspended platform. And what that does for you is means it's really easy to step on and off, and you're not gonna damage the deck whatsoever. In previous years, they didn't have that chain system. So you had to be careful stepping on and off the deck, because the way it was made is you could kind of get your deck a little bit off level if you were stepping on and off of it consistently. Now, they did offer you a bit of a step-through pad on the front, but now I think that's just a really commercial feature with a hanging deck. You can step on and off the deck with a lot of peace of mind because it's made for that. Secondly, you're gonna see they have tubular framing up front here. So you can see they have this thick steel tubular framing up front. The cutting deck is fabricated steel. That's 10 gauge, which is super standard for a lot of zero-turn mowers. And then the other thing I didn't mention is the deck adjustment system. So one of my favorite systems, regardless of mower, is the pin system. I just think it's very easy to use. I think for me, it gives me more peace of mind that it's exactly at the cutting height I want. I know that can seem kind of simple-minded, but for whatever reason, when I'm using a system like this, I just think it's a lot easier and makes me feel a lot more comfortable adjusting heights or knowing that I'm at the exact height I need. So you have your foot pedal right here. All you gotta do is push it out to release it. The pin will pop right out. Again, it's magnetized in there. If I want it up at 3 inches, I can just put it to 3 inches and you'll see it drops to my exact height. Pin locks in place so it's not sliding out at all, and I'm good to go right there. If I need to change it, just pop it out again, move the pin, and we're right back there to go. So I think it's super easy to use, very nice there. So I like that feature on this Timecutter. Now, for the controls, you'll see they have a standard PTO, except it's more in the form of a switch here. So you can see that's a little bit different. A lot of mowers will have the knob that you can press up and down. This is just gonna be a switch just like that. So again, something a little bit unique. If you kind of look around the framing here, you'll see there's no parking brake. Well, that's because in the Toro Timecutter and now the Titan series, everything's internal. So the second, if I have my key on like this, I don't know if we can hear it if we come close here, when I pull these in like this and then put them back out, I don't know if you could hear that at all. There's a very slight click that you can hear because the parking brake engages and disengages on its own when you bring the handlebars in. So this, I think it's really great. We hardly have any sort of issues with the parking brake internally breaking down or needing repair. So they've made it really, really well on this Timecutter series here. The nice thing about the 54-inch cut as well, you get your Kawasaki engine. Again, it's a 23 horse Kawasaki engine. This is gonna have ZT 2200 transmissions. And then overall, you'll just see the same styling all throughout. Again, the engine's covered really well. It's a beefy style around the seat. It's a high back seat, which I think is really comfortable. But why did I choose this 54 over a 50 or over a 60? Why did I choose the 54 specifically? This one right now, I think, is one of the best bang for buck residential mowers on the market. You hear us say bang for buck with Bad Boy. Toro, when it comes to their Timecutter series, is a really great bang for buck as well. I actually tell a lot of people who are shopping here that if you're looking at entry-level residential, so maybe Timecutter series specifically in Toro, I'd be hard-pressed to find a brand that I think gives you better specs with better value than this Toro Timecutter. So to say all that, 54-inch Timecutter Max comes in at $39.99. You're under $4,000 for a 54-inch cut, fabricated steel deck with a Kawasaki engine. I just think that's a phenomenal option right there that Toro's giving you. Now, with the tariffs and things like that, if you're shopping online or you're going to a local Toro dealer, they might be a touch over the $4,000 price point. For us, we ordered these early enough into the season to where we were locked into that $39.99 price point they came into this year with. And on top of that, Toro also does a lot of summer promotions to where there is commonly deals that's going on that keep this at a really feasible price point. So again, $39.99 is what we've got this one marked at. And I'm just a really big fan of the Timecutter series. Again, I think there's a lot of value, and I think the 54-inch is a great value. Compared to the 50-inch, it's only $100 more. So if a 54 fits in just about everywhere, I think it's worth it to go from a 50-inch to a 54 when it's only a $100 difference. So that's, again, why I chose this 54 and why it's the first mower on my top 3 Toro list. For my next favorite Toro, we're skipping the Titan series. Again, I really like the Titan series, but I want to jump that series and go to the Titan Max, which I think is one of the best mowers that Toro makes. So we've got a 60-inch Titan Max here. This is their top line residential. So this is a mower that you're going to see a lot more commercial features than residential features, and that's intentional on Toro's behalf. So what keeps this classified as a residential mower? Well, it's got ZT 3100 transmissions. So typically in hydro gear, ZT 3400 transmissions is the start of their commercial graded transmission. So having ZT 3100s, it's going to stay in that residential class. But you can see just by looking at the frame, it's going to look pretty commercial. You have this I-beam frame that Toro puts on their commercial line. They give you a light kit, which I think is a really great feature. You're going to see they give it a bull-nosed edge up front. So you can see they keep that 10-gauge steel deck, but they make it a little bit deeper, which helps with overall cut quality. And you can see that bull-nosed front. They call it their iron-forged deck up front as well. So moving along the side of it here, again, you're going to have a side-mounted gas tank. You're going to get a little bit more fuel capacity on this one than in the Timecutter series. And you're going to get larger, more aggressive rear tires. So you're going to get 23-inch Reaper tires on this as well. So they get more aggressive, a little bit larger, hold the ground really, really well. You're going to have some good accessibility on the Titan Max. Again, the cutting deck flips up, very easy to access the belts and pulleys right like that. As for the height adjustments, you're going to have the same pin style system, except you go from half-inch increments to quarter-inch increments. So it's the exact same process. Pop it out with your foot. You can choose whatever height you want it at. Release the lever right here, and you're good to go again. It locks in place. It's not going anywhere. So that same pin system style. You can control your lights right here from the seat, or you have the same switch style PTO that you saw on the Timecutter series. And then the lap bars as well are going to be the exact same. You have a little bit of adjustability here, but they're going to be the same on that Timecutter and Titan series as well. So for being one of my favorite Toro mowers, there are one or two things that I wish were a little bit different that aren't big deals. They might just be personal preferences. For the engine, they give you a 26 horse Kohler engine. You can see it's got the air filter off the backside here, which is nice. Anytime your air filter kind of protrudes away from the engine, just adds to overall quality of the engine and longevity out of your air filter. But they only give you a Kohler engine option. So on the standard Titan, you can get a Kawasaki engine. This, you're only gonna have that Kohler option. And then as for the only things that I wish they would change a little bit, I just wish it had a little bit more frame suspension. So you can see, you can get underneath the seat here. Gas tank's gonna be the primary thing. You do have some small springs here underneath the seat, but for being something that's so close to commercial, I do wish there was a little bit more suspension on it. Which brings me to the one thing that I would change that I think would make this a near perfect residential mower, would be an AirRide seat. I wish that they would give you an air dial seat option. That's something that is common that we see customers wanting to do, is add that air dial seat. When we've done that, man, it makes a world of difference. This turns into a very, very premium machine. So that is the one thing I would change, is the overall comfort, but nonetheless, that still lands in my top 3. Price point on this guy right here is going to be just a touch over $7,000 at $7,099. If you were to add an AirRide seat, you're going to commonly be between about $800 to $1,000 for seat and install. So just know, if an AirRide seat is something you are thinking about, you're going to add between about $800 to $1,000, which would then put you slightly above $8,000. We also recently put out a video comparing the Titan with MyRide to the Titan Max, so that really gets into the nitty-gritty comparing the two of them. Which one is the better choice? You can find that in that video. We'll make sure to link that in the description. But just to give you a quick glimpse into why you might choose a Titan Max over a Titan is, number one, you get a light kit. Number two, larger gas capacity. Number three, longer warranty. So you go from a 3-year warranty to a 4-year warranty. And then number four, you get that rollover protection kit as well. So those are some of the upgrades that you get when you jump to the Titan Max from the Titan, outside of the standard features like the bigger transmissions. And then number three, my third favorite mower in the Toro line is the Toro 4000 series. So this is specifically model 74020. The reason I bring that up is because we really could have done this video only doing commercial mowers. Toro has a great commercial line. They own Exmark, so a lot of similarities you see between Toro and Exmark are because they're manufactured very similar. They're almost identical machines. So you see Exmark kind of being put on this high pedestal for what the best commercial mower is. I think you can put Toro right on that same level with them because it is such a similar machine, and that really comes out in the Toro 5000 and 6000 series, which is their top line commercial. So once you get into their commercial line, they go 2000 series, 4000, 5000, 6000. So again, there's 4 different commercial lines in it. So if I had a 5000 or a 6000 series, I probably would have included them in this. We didn't have one on the lot right now, so I chose the 4000 series, which I still think, even regardless, would be one that I would probably put in my top 3 to 5 favorite zero turns. So we look at this 4000 series here. Again, they're mid-level commercial, so not their entry level, not their top line premium, kind of finds itself right in that middle ground for Toro's commercial line. But you'll see the same I-beam frame we've seen on some other models. See the same deck accessibility, flips up, very easy to access there. The deck goes from 10 gauge steel to 7 gauge steel, so you can see even a more aggressive bull nose here, just a lot of rigidity in this machine. So built for commercial use, built like a bull is kind of what Toro's catchphrase is for their commercial line. So you're gonna see that if you kind of just look at the overall toughness. A lot of steel, a lot of red steel. What I like on a commercial mower is when you see a lot of steel components. Sometimes you can see on certain brands just the frame being steel, and then you just see a ton of plastic all around the backside here. So anytime a brand uses a lot of steel, I like it because that's gonna add to overall longevity of your machine. So you'll see this is actually the identical air dial seat that we've put on that Titan Max. So this one right here you can see has adjustable to your custom body weight right there, which is really nice. It's got nice plush arm bars, a nice high back seat, so really comfortable seat on there, and they keep that same pin system as well. So you'll see you have your foot pedal, you have your release right here with the pin, so same pin system we've been seeing. I kind of like that they keep it continuous from their entry-level residential all the way up through top-line commercial with that same pin system. I do really like that. And then you're gonna have the same switch style PTO on this as well. So once you hop to Toro's commercial line, you do get a parking brake. This one is on your left-hand side here, so really easy to just flip up and down. You have nice space here for a drink, phone, cup holder right there, which is nice. And then you do have a gas tank here as well. This is gonna have a 10-gallon gas tank, so lots of capacity there. Then as for the tires, you'll see these are Carlisle tires, so this is a little bit more that turf tire style. You can see it's a lot less aggressive than what we've seen some of the other treads, and they are 26 inches tall, so plenty big for you on your property. This as well, what I really like about this model specifically is they're giving you a Kawasaki engine. This is a 35 horse carbureted Kawasaki engine, so really great engine right there. Anytime you get a commercial Kawasaki, you're getting a really high quality, very premium engine. You can see you have your transmission fluid right here, so very easy to service. You can just unscrew it, and then that goes into both transmissions. On this model specifically, you can see this is the HDX Pro XL. This is gonna have ZT 5400 transmission. So as big and beefy as Hydro Gear makes their transmissions, it's gonna be found on this 4000 series here. So again, you get Hydro Gear's best transmission system on this machine. And then you can see if you look around the backside here, batteries again on the left-hand side. There's not a ton of overall accessibility. Seat is bolted in place. So again, I could unbolt these two right here, pop the seat up if I needed to get to my gas tank or anything like that. Again, there's not really a need to get underneath the seat when it is just the gas tank. The other nice thing is you can see Toro gives you standard on a lot of other models, kind of like that triangle hitch, if you can see that on the Timecutter series. So very great if you have a lawn cart or anything like that. It's just a pin that you drop through and it can tow. This, you'll see they give you a little bit more like a truck hitch right here. So you actually have like a receiver that you can insert into here, and then you can actually tow a lot more weight once you get here. So I like that they're giving you this receiver style hitch. I just think that makes it to where you can haul heavier loads or just bigger implements off the back of this if you need. I like that they're giving you that option. On the front side here, you do have pneumatic tires, so they're airless. You don't have to worry about them popping it all while you're using it. And then maybe the most notable thing about the 4000 series from Toro is the warranty. So they're gonna give you a 5-year, 1,500 hour warranty, which is super premium in the commercial zero-turn line. So there's hardly any brands that are giving you up to 5-year warranties, and pair that with up to 1,500 hours. Basically what that means is 5 years or 1,500 hours, whichever comes first. But 1,500 hours is usually a lot higher hour limit than what other brands are giving you. So I don't think it's wild to say that Toro offers one of the best, if not the best, warranty on the zero-turn market that you can find. So again, I think the 4000 series is a really great machine. What's the price point on it? Well, you get this 60-inch cut, the 35-horse Kawasaki engine, ZT 5400 transmissions, and it comes in at $13,999. Now again, I mentioned earlier, Toro does run some summer sales, so looking into it, Toro does have these priced a little bit lower, closer to that $13,000 mark, but standard retail is $13,999 on this machine. So again, Toro Exmark, very similar. Especially once you get to the 5000 and 6000 series in Toro, if I had those here to show, you'd see just how similar it looks to the Laser series that Exmark is putting out. Those are great options there as well. I just think because of the warranty, because of the price point, this Z-Master 4000 series makes it into my top 3 favorite Toro mowers. So when it comes to Toro, again, I like from the Timecutter all the way up to the Z-Master 6000, I think they have great options and really great specs on those mowers. So I could have chosen any one of them and probably made a case for why they're a great option. These 3 are just my 3 favorite that, from talking to customers, selling them for a couple of years, I see added value in. So let me know in the comments, are there any Toro mowers that maybe you would have put in instead? Again, we like to hear that feedback from you guys in the comments, so make sure to leave your thoughts down there. If you liked the video, drop a like on it. If you feel so inclined, subscribe to the channel as well. It really helps us grow, and we always appreciate any sort of support that you guys can offer. But we appreciate you watching, we appreciate you supporting the channel, and until the next time, we'll see you later.